We're good to go. All right. Welcome, everybody. It is 9 o'clock and we are ready for 1 million cups this morning. It is great to be here. And we are going to go ahead and get started this morning. We've got a fantastic group of people. We'll get through that in a second. But let's go ahead and get us started. The Kauffman Foundation is the founder and supporting of 1 Million Cups. They are here to work with communities to help around entrepreneurship and the education to help people increase their opportunities to learn and take risks and really help them towards their own success. So we are looking forward to that. I think we have several visitors today. For those people that are visiting, if you wouldn't mind raising your hand, and it's a little hard for me to see who they are, but raise your hand and share your name, your company, and how you heard about us would be great. Who do we have? Jamie Hudson.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for having me. My name's Jamie Hudson, and I work with Fairfax County government. We support hundreds of job seekers throughout Northern Virginia. We oversee like different employment and training programs, different grants. So kind of operate like a staffing agency, trying to make connections with job seekers, employers, and sometimes leveraging resources and funding available. And my colleague went to one of these in Manassas because we oversee a grant for Prince William County residents. So she said I should join this. So just excited to be here and learn more. So thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks for being here. Anybody else? It's
TJ Patel.
Hello. My name is TJ. I am a PhD student for the chemistry, and I'm looking for postdoc, computational chemistry student. But I just came to see what's going on in the field.
Great.
I heard it from the meetup.
Oh, wonderful. Social media works. Anybody else?
I think Rich is on another call, so
okay,
we can come back to him.
All right, we'll come back to Rich. Great. Very good. All right. If everybody could, please check in. You can use your phone to scan that QR code to check in. That helps us. We are working towards, more members. Love to see more people on the call. And so as a result, when we register, it does help the Kauffman Foundation recognize us, and we get some cool stuff from them as we as we continue to build memberships. So it would be great if everybody can do that. It's real easy and straightforward. Just take a picture and register for this event. So, all right. All right. All right. And today we are here, not by accident. We are here because we've got a number of volunteers. We are a volunteer-led organization. And you can see on your screen, we've got a number of organizers. And I think, I think most of the organizers and a number of the ambassadors are here as well. And we are always looking for new organizers and ambassadors. And you can see also that we've got our QR code down there again, just to remind you to go ahead and register. We're also supported by two organizations that we partner with, Veterans Growing America, and Donnell Johns, one of the founders of this chapter of 1 Million Cups, has started Veterans Growing America, and we'll have some information later on about when they meet and that sort of thing. So we'll touch on that. And then the Fairfax County Economic Development Authority. We have somebody who does attend here a fairly regular basis, but we work with them as well. And it sounds like Jamie was speaking. So boy, it's, the opportunity for partnership is awesome. And so we always are looking for partners, to help entrepreneurs. We are both national and local. As you saw, that the Kauffman Foundation is national. There are actually 120 chapters across the country. And what we do is really look to work obviously locally with local companies, solopreneurs, and entrepreneurs. Certainly with the opportunity with being virtual, we do have the opportunity to reach out beyond the local, but our goal here is to help the local entrepreneurs. All right, we have some key pillars. We are not raising money here. This is about presentations and not pitches. The other thing, which is interesting, we are about authentic connections. And I'll say from an organic standpoint, you build relationships. And you build relationships by being consistent and coming to meetings. And so that networking happens organically, but we really are, I can feel like I can call on anybody, any of the organizers or ambassadors if I need some kind of help. So it is all about authentic connections. We are run for the community and by the community. And and the other thing is that we are radically intentionally inclusive, working with anybody that needs help, from a solopreneur and even just somebody who's thinking about a business and not sure if they want to start it. Everybody is welcome. Also, we've got two sponsors today. We've got the George Mason Enterprise Center, and who wants to touch on the Enterprise Center?
I can speak to MEC.
Awesome. Thank you, Jen.
Sure thing. Mason Enterprise Center is part of a broader network of Mason Enterprise. So there are several incubators around the Northern Virginia area, and new one in Arlington called Fuse, which should be fantastic, right off the metro at Glebe. You also have MEC Fairfax, which is where we meet the first Wednesday of every month in person and virtually. So it's our hybrid meeting. Eddie Hill is the director there. You can email him there. I can also put his direct email in chat. What's unique about this incubator is they provide dedicated mentoring. They have ICAP and SBDC resources to help you commercialize or launch your business. Do check them out. They have dedicated programming as well. You can be a virtual member, you can be a drop-in member, or you can actually have office space there. Where we meet is in the neighboring building, where they have a huge training room for up to 60 people. So if you do a lot of training or speaking, or you want to have that capability as well, definitely a great place to check out. They will be hosting a quarterly networking event in Q4, so stay tuned for that. But they're a fantastic partner. Again, they let us use their space, and they're a fantastic community partner. So do check them out. And without surprise, John Foster, Green Fair is our coffee sponsor this month.
Yes, well, it is. Yes, I'm with Green. I'm the ambassador for Green Fair Organic Cafe in Herndon, Virginia. We are the only restaurant in the country that does what we do. We are 100% organic. We are whole food, plant-based. We don't cook with any salt, oil, or sugar. Our goal is to help people towards optimal health. We run a 21-day Kickstart program. So for 21 days, you get 42 meals and 4 classes. We see an average of a 20% drop in cholesterol, drop in weight, drop in blood pressure. We've had 6 doctors through this program because their patients were actually getting better. So we're in Herndon. I will bring muffins when we meet in person to check out the muffins from Green Fair. So anyway, with that, if you get a chance and you're in Herndon, I'm 10 minutes from the restaurant, so I'd love to have lunch. With that, how our meetings work. I think most everybody knows, but make sure that you use the chat to share your information. So at the end of the meeting, everybody can save chat, and you've got the opportunity to reach out to people. We will also, during the meeting, we'll put comments in. We'd ask that you also add your comments as we're going through the meeting. And that way you have the opportunity to reach out to people, and you've got a summary of the meeting to use going forward. How our meetings work. We're going to have a presentation for about 10 minutes this morning. And then from there, after the presentation, we will have the opportunity to ask questions and make comments and suggestions. So, and also, if you just keep your mics on mute during the meeting until you are called on. Also, I think this is a fairly kind group, but we do ask that, from a comments standpoint, let's keep it positive. A couple of ideas on the screen about that, but I don't think we'll have any issues with that this morning. And with that, we have got Alex is going to be talking to us about FranchiSelect, and absolutely looking forward to this. And so, Alex, I think we are ready for you to start your presentation.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, everyone. Jen, I'm assuming you're going to be managing the slides. Okay. Before we start, just thanks very much. I know Jen from BNI and from last 4 years, and it's wonderful to meet all of you. I always love networking. If I had a chance to just network all day long, I'd probably be the happiest professional on the planet. Don't answer any emails, just go out and meet people, shake hands, have coffee, lunch, dinner. So it's wonderful to be here. We just recently made an acquisition. So FranchiSelect name will be changing. We made an acquisition of a financing company that now will help us internally finance franchises that our clients acquire. So with that said, I guess the next slide would be what we do and the challenges we face. I think like most of us here, the challenge that face all of our small businesses is visibility, exposure, and that certainly is ours. We do as much as we can, as much as we know. We are learning every day from professionals like yourselves, but really the game plan is to get maximum visibility. We work with our target audience, as you can imagine, are professionals who are looking to become business owners, and they all come from different walks of life. There is no set group. Some are from corporate America, others have been downsized. The great professional migration of COVID, post-COVID, certainly plays a role. Then we have a group of clients who are perfectly happy with their full-time careers, making great salaries, benefits, but they like to have a side business to generate some passive income. Doctors make a perfect example, and I can share some of that information with you as well. So again, it's all about professionals looking to start a business. Well, I'm a serial entrepreneur, and I always say I wish I knew what it was like to have the comfort of a W-2 job. Maybe in my next life, but I've been blessed. Had 4 companies, not counting the last one, which was pre-COVID, and during COVID it imploded. Only lasted about 2 years. But prior to that, 4 companies that I started from scratch. And I was, as I said, fortunate enough that the 3rd company I took public on NASDAQ. And if anyone who's successful in business tells you that they did it all on their own and luck had no part in it, let me just say it's not quite accurate. Luck plays a big role. So I am leveraging really my own personal experience, not some theories I read on a book, but personal hardship experiences to now guide my clients into the world of entrepreneurship. Next slide. Okay, so FranchiSelect is my last, or I should say franchise consulting is the last chapter of my career. I started this company in 2000. It is growing. We're hiring more people just because there's demand. I wonder why I didn't do this earlier, but I love it. It's my language, as I speak it fluently, and I enjoy it. Obviously, the service that we provided was available within days. My office is on DuPont Circle, and my home is in Adams Morgan, so I got a nice 1.5-mile commute one way every day, and it's a great exercise as well, so I love it. In terms of the problem we solve, as we discussed, I think most people who are looking to become entrepreneurs have a dream, they have an idea, they're excited by the dollar sign potentials, they underestimate risk, they underestimate the fit of the business to their own lifestyle, personal beliefs, work environment. There are so many intangibles that go into determining what's the right business for you. And those are all quite underestimated in a typical scenario that an excited entrepreneur has. My job is to remove all those uncertainties and actually force them to address these intangible issues. Many of them will have a direct impact on whether they are successful or not. And so that's what I really, I'm proud of doing in my team. we really do dig deep into areas that even the entrepreneur or the would-be entrepreneur is not even thinking about, including their family dynamics, which plays a role in every one of our business ownership decisions. So how do we generate revenues? I love our business model because I am not a hard seller. I'm a talker. I'm a socializer, a social animal. One thing I've never done is do any kind of a hard sell, but I've always promoted my business. So our service is truly consultative. We don't advocate for a franchise. We don't have a franchise. People ask me, what's your favorite franchise now? What's the hot franchise today? And I say, the hot franchise is the one that fits you the best. That is the hottest franchise you can get in, period, end of story. We don't sell because you don't sell a business ownership to someone. That's a highly personal decision. It's a family decision. All I can do and my team is to help them and guide them in the right direction so they can make the informed decision along with their family members. So no salesy approaches. I work around their timeline. Everyone's timeline is different. I don't have a set timeline. And I will always be the advocate for the client, not for the franchise companies. I work with over 750 of them. I cannot possibly be a franchise consultant and advocate all these different franchise companies. So my client is truly my client. The fee, again, client doesn't pay a penny. If the client acquires a franchise that I've recommended, I get a finder's fee from the franchise company. And that fee is not an add-on. Whether you go to the franchise directly or come through me, your cost of acquiring that franchise is exactly the same. Okay. Our offer, again, highly customizable or customized, tailor-made business opportunities that have taken into account all the tangibles and intangibles that can make someone successful. Number one, ideal clients, they can be totally inexperienced in the world of entrepreneurship. Most of them are, but they have experience in as a professional, whether it's management, ops, marketing, business development, whatever the case is, they are not fresh out of college for the most part. Millennials are right now about 49% of new franchise buyers, followed very closely by the baby boomers, as we all expect. Typically, our clients are coming from some kind of a corporate environment, or they're actually business owners who failed. Business owners whose business failed, but they don't want to go back to working for the man, as they say. They want to try another business. So that's another group. Again, as I said, 100% complimentary is the nature of our fee structure. We are neutral, always will be neutral. The differentiator between us and a business broker is that the broker wants to sell the business that's on the market. I don't have a business to sell. I have advice to sell, and even that is for free and is paid if the closing does happen. It's paid by the franchise company. So, okay. Target clients, again, professionals who want to start a new business, professionals or business owners who want to diversify. Many want to generate passive income. Some purchase businesses for their offsprings, their children, family member. Many buy a business, hire a competent manager to run it in anticipation of retiring in a year or two and not going to golf all day long, but actually running this business they started 2 years earlier. So those are some of the scenarios. Recruiting firms are great. They help us because some of those candidates of theirs who are looking for jobs are also looking to start a business. They're really examining all their options. Any kind of a business consultant is a good referral source and partner. Obviously, the incubators, you can all imagine, these are known groups. We talk about some of these groups in our meetings every week. We use LinkedIn quite a bit. I've just joined the Chamber of Commerce. Obviously, any kind of a conference that helps the support of entrepreneurs is great for us. We haven't tried Facebook, although we're looking into it, and it seems to be not the most certain way to advertise or market for our type of service. But and again, networking platforms like what we are now. I guess the competitor would be a client going directly to XYZ franchise company. Okay, they can certainly do that. Many do. They don't even know we exist as an industry, the franchise consulting industry. They can do that, but they would have to really go it alone. They don't have an advocate to help them unearth some of the details that maybe they don't discuss with the franchise company. The franchises we work with, the top, what we call tier 1, 750 plus franchises, these folks all have a track record that's stellar. They are in full disclosure. And by the way, the FTC is the governing oversight agency for the franchise industry. Every franchise must release its audited financials and other information about the franchise and every franchise owner, without mentioning their names, in a document called the FDD. It's not here on the slide, but I share this with you. Franchise disclosure document is critical. It's a must. So again, a client going directly to the franchise, sure, they can get it done. With us, we give them a lot more information and a lot more tailoring of their option versus them just going online and researching for franchises. Business brokers, we already discussed, they do have, and we do partner with them, by the way. Don't get me wrong. I love what they do. They certainly fill a need just like we do. But we can work together on clients who are not looking for existing businesses that someone else's fingerprint is on, but they want to start something from scratch. They want to have their own kind of ownership on it. So we work together. Advisory services, like we talked about, any kind of advisory service to entrepreneurs and to small business is a great source for us, even though they may be seen as competitors. They're not. So we collaborate. I don't think we have a competitor that we haven't partnered with, honestly. The only competition really what we have is not by any group of individuals or professionals. It's the layout of the market. Some businesses are for sale. They're existing businesses, resales. Yes, they compete with those of us who work with new businesses. That's the only source of competition. The rest is all collaboration. So let's be seen. Good God, if I could find a solution for this, for all of us. But really, how do we get the visibility to those who are looking to make a change in their lives? The American dream is on everyone's tongue, in the back of their heads. Some execute on it, others think about it, and the rest dream about it. I just wish I could be in front of all three groups. That's my challenge.
Well, thank you, Alex. Great presentation.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
And our moderator today, just to confirm.
That's me.
Perfect. So Melinda, if you'll take us away, and as John said earlier, just raise your hand virtually, digitally, or wave frantically, and Melinda will call you.
Great. Perfect. And I'm just gonna let somebody in.
I got it.
Okay, first I've got Scott, then I have James, then I have John Foster. Go ahead. An outstanding presentation.
Excellent presentation. Thank you so much. So
Thank you.
I'm curious about how you go about assessing an entrepreneur's temperament and their wiring to ensure that you're aligning them with the specific style of business. I'm just interested in the thought process and the assessment process that you go through to do that.
Great question. There are several phases to this analysis of a person's temperament. One is we put in front of them certain challenging scenarios that face almost all business owners. I want to see what their reaction is. I want to see what they instinctively think of as a solution. These are not prepared scenarios, so it's all at kind of an ad hoc. They have to think on their feet. So instinct plays a big role, and that's what we test for. Number two, we typically get the spouses on the line. It's critical. This is not a decision the person makes in a vacuum. It's a family decision. Dynamics of the family and even the extended family play a big role in this. So we do get the spouse on the line. And if they say, no, my spouse will do anything I want to do, that is absolute baloney, because behind the scenes, that is not the case. And we know it. So if they want to make that decision in a vacuum, we respectfully exit stage right. Now, in terms of other temperaments, issues, I hope this is not too sensitive a subject. I feel uncomfortable saying it every time, but it is a fact of life. I need to know if they're happy working with blue-collar workers or white-collar workers. Okay? I won't tell you the scenarios I've had to go through, but something as nominal as that, maybe something that we don't even think about, plays a role, whether someone gets up in the morning and is excited about starting their business. So another kind of dynamic you asked for. And then risk tolerance. Risk tolerance galore. My goodness. No, I'm going to make money. Listen, yeah, that's no problem. I'm going to double my kids' college fund in the next 3 years. So using their money now is a perfectly good decision. Really. So when it comes to temperament, it's risk. It's and by the way, one of the key things that we see, and we never bring this up, is their tone of voice when we're talking and interviewing them. Remember, we're spending 3, 4, 5 hours with them on the phone or on Zoom, preferably Zoom, getting the full picture, because I have to actually report what my analysis of that individual is to the franchise company that I recommend them to. I am actually rated by the franchise industry as to whether my recommendations are studied recommendations, or I'm just grabbing people off the street and saying, contact this franchise and buy one so I can get a fee. That doesn't work in our, that's why they call me a certified franchise consultant, not just a consultant. So I hope that answers your question. There's more, but thank you, Scott. Thanks.
Next, we've got James, and then we have John Foster.
Hey, Alex, great presentation.
Thank you, James.
So I actually started in a franchise, right? So when we started our business in 2009, we started as a franchise, and we did it for 4.5 years. Bought ourselves out, went independent. Number of reasons for that, but I think the visibility thing is less about like channel, although channel is important. I think it's more to do with like, what are the things that the potential franchisee is thinking about? And honestly, for us, when we got into a franchise, there was really 2 big things, right? One was time to market. I didn't want to sit and have to build everything. I'm like, I go in, I've got a system, I've got basically everything that I need to actually hit the road and run. That was point number 1 for us. And the second thing was how the franchisor handled the structure of payment, right? And we didn't pay money unless we had clients, which for us was great, unlike other coaching organizations that get to pay $1,500 a month where you had a client or not, right? So there's a couple of big things in there that for us, and we went through probably a 3-month psychographic testing and interviews and the whole 9 yards. So I think it's probably more important to be thinking when you start looking at ideal client and the people you want is what are the hot buttons for them specifically versus like someone who wants to start a business is really broad. Someone who wants to start a business whose interests are, hey, I want to go off really quick. I want to make sure I can get into the market really quickly, blah, blah. And a lot of people will buy a franchise, especially things like cleaning companies. The amount of people that buy cleaning companies that will never themselves put their hand in a toilet and clean it. That's not what they're doing it for. Right?
Of course.
So the motivation is kind of reinput. So I would say maybe bounce that around a little bit more and then use that. And because I think your channels are fine. LinkedIn is probably a great place to be for this, right? Chambers of Commerce, maybe, but those are people already in business. And if it's diversification of income, you might find that as well. But I think LinkedIn's probably going to be the best bet. I would definitely be looking at motivations for doing it versus a channel. I think you're fine there. That's
James, 2 things. First of all, thank you. And the check, it will be in the mail today. I think you could be my partner in this and a co-spokesperson. No, you're absolutely right, James. That's a great observation. I think the one common thread amongst all the clients we work with is their desperation for support before they start a business.
Right.
They don't want to do it alone. They're actually quite threatened by it. And their fear of failure is most glaring when they have to do something in a very solo environment. As soon as you add a partner to that a partner to that business person who wants to go out on their own, the dynamics shift. And they become a lot more optimistic and more into thinking about successful outcome versus just a failure. But you're absolutely right.
And by the way, they also have to be someone that can work inside a structure.
Yes.
Because a franchisee can't go off and do any shit they want to go do, which is why I left mine. Right. So it's like, because James likes to do stuff. And
Yes.
that's just who I am. Right.
And
so
James,
working inside a box is really important.
one of the questions that you're, again, like I said, you're definitely singing into the choir. You know your franchise business well. One of the questions we ask in our multi-hour interview is, how good are you at following others' directions or following in the footsteps of others? Or do you have to have your name on everything you do?
Jane's laughing. I'm not really sure why.
No, but that's a great observation.
It's a really important question because people think they can, and I thought I could. 4 years in, I'm like, no, this isn't working for me. So it's just one of those things we have to be careful about.
And
So
ask any franchise.
Just a quick
Frank,
time check. I want to make sure we get to other questions too.
Sure.
Conversation's really good. I'm actually struggling to tell you guys to keep it more concise, but
Yeah.
try to when possible.
Thank you.
Next, we've got John Foster, John Rutenberg, Reggie, Jen, and myself, but I disappeared from the list, so I'll go whenever I can get in.
All right, thank you. And I'm glad I'm not the only one that has that struggle in cutting people off when I'm moderating.
Yeah, thank you, Jen.
Alex, thank you so much for the presentation. It's certainly edgy. And one of the reasons we're here is education, and certainly what you're doing, got a little bit of education. I was looking for some clarification though, and this kind of goes, I think, back to a little bit of what James has talked about. One of the things you mentioned in your presentation was passive income. You mentioned doctors. And so I'm just trying to, because when I think of franchise, I think of somebody go out and buying a franchise and, you know, being in that franchise. And so the other piece of that, because I think of doctors, you know, doctors want to invest in things for maybe other forms of income. And so are there different levels of people, you know, when somebody buys a franchise? So I'm just trying to get a better understanding of that.
Of course, that's a great question. John, we call those semi-absentee ownerships the passive opportunity. And yeah, you're right. Absolutely. There are plenty of physicians and other professionals, well-to-do professionals, who don't want to have any entanglement that competes with their full-time job. So even a semi-absentee position is too much of a commitment for them outside of their main line, because you'd need at least 10 hours a week to manage your manager who's running this semi-absentee business for you. So not all physicians certainly would welcome this model, but many do. And the reason they do welcome it is really multifaceted. Many of them have a family member, a relative, or a friend they want to partner with, and that individual is going to run the business. And the physician has the confidence that this individual is trustworthy and has the best interest of all parties, and also are vested interest in the franchise. So they make that collaboration and make it happen. One thing everyone talks about is that they use the word buy a franchise. And you may have noticed I never use the word buy, because franchises are not bought. Franchises are awarded. You can have $1 billion to your name. If the franchisor, James, you know this, if the franchisor believes you're not a right fit, you will never get awarded the franchise. And by the way, there are certain reasons for it. If you fail, it reflects poorly on the brand. And if the failure rate goes beyond a certain threshold, the SBA, the biggest lender to the franchise industry, takes you off the registry. And that's going to stunt your growth. So franchises are awarded and awarded only. I hope that answers partly your question, John.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next, we have John, then Reggie, then Jen, then me, and then Scott again.
Well, Alex, again, thank you so much for presenting and for being involved in 1 Million Cups.
Thank you.
a question and a comment. My first question is, in round numbers, how many franchisees do you need in a year to have a good year?
Great question. 10 to 10, 11, 12.
Okay, so in order to get 10 or 11 or 12, because I'm going to visibility, okay, how many do you really need to see? And let's just pick 500 for a moment, okay?
You are such an optimist.
Okay, but no, you need whatever number, maybe it's 1,000, because in order to get 10, is that 1%? I'm not good with all the zeros, but there's someone here who's good in math.
It's
But-
about 2%, John.
Okay, yeah, so you only have to be visible in certain areas. And so that's my first question and comment, that visibility can be fairly narrow. And there may be the two demographics you spoke to. But
That's
again,
right.
you only need so many eyeballs to get to 10 to 12. And therefore, you don't have to be everything to everyone. The second is you have an amazing message. You're the representative of that franchisee, certified, being paid by whatever franchisor you end up with. And according, is it a standard fee that every
No.
franchise? No.
It
okay,
varies
they're
by
all different.
franchise company.
Okay, so, but again, you're the owner's representative. And so the analogy to me is two. One, I'm the owner of a piece of ground. I've hired a general contractor, and my architect or some third party is my owner's rep, who signs off on everything before. And then another analogy would be to the senior housing community, where there are consultants who are paid by the facility to which that senior adult is sent to, so to speak,
Yes.
or the right fit. And you're
Yes.
creating the right fit. So I believe in a very focused way, reaching the couple of thousand people to bubble up the 10 or so is achievable with the right messaging and the very precise marketing.
John, I'm all ears, and
Yeah.
I would welcome everyone's suggestions. And John, you seem to know you're enough. I mean, I cannot add anything to what you just said. You're 100% on the ball. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, John. I would love to meet with you.
Yeah, we will. We had a meeting set up and then we both were traveling.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Sorry,
Yeah, yeah.
John. Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Next, we have Reggie, then we have Jen, then we have me, then we have Scott.
Hi, Alex. Great presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
One thing that I would say, or I, just observe is like I'm on your website and it's very kind of like boilerplate language, in terms of, hey, achieve your dreams of business ownership. There's some stock photos and stuff, but it's not super personal or emotional. And I feel like, deciding to go after a franchise is something that's highly emotional. Even this idea of like achieve your dreams, like what is that? What does that look like? Give me some case studies, give me some examples, even if they're made up. You have 40 years of experience in business, like you've seen every possible thing out there. Like tell me a little bit about what that looks like, because I just want to see that. I think people need to see their own journey reflected in your marketing material, specifically the website, because they're going to land there and it feels like something that's very far off. And what you can do through your messaging and positioning is make it something that's actually attainable. And like if I don't know where to go, but I land on your page, like tell me where to go, like give me a vision of what it could look like, what are the next steps, like make it super clear, and use emotion, because when you're talking about dreams and stuff that people have thought a long time about pursuing, like it's emotional, and so it's got to be a little bit more, I think, personal and intimate in terms of the way you're having that conversation with people. So I would look at how you can include more of that language, more of those visuals and imagery, to make it something that people see themselves actually participating in, and not just somebody else's dream, but actually a dream that they themselves can pursue.
Reggie, I've heard this a couple of times before, but you lit that fire that I need to have under me. So I welcome all of you. Reggie, you seem to know very well exactly what our website's messaging and emotional transformation should be. And if any of you can help me, direct me to the right group, agency, individual who can build a website for us, especially now in light of the fact that we've acquired this finance company, I would welcome it. So thank you so much, Reggie. You can't be any more right. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Next, we've got Jen, then me, then Scott.
Hey, Alex, I'm gonna build on what Reggie said. I think there's a lot of education that probably needs to happen for what franchises are even available. Even if you shared, did you know there's virtual franchises, right? Like when people think of a franchise, they probably think of Chick-fil-A, McDonald's,
Yes.
brick and mortar restaurant, right? And giving people a sense of, if your lifestyle is, I have time available, but I don't want to have a brick and mortar, people may not know there are franchises that even do that. To Reggie's point, if you said, hey, do you have a strength that you use at work, which you think you could turn into a business? Here are some examples for, franchises that are in need of ... skills or strengths. The other thought I had was specifically for visibility. I would love to connect you with Karen Sma and see if you could speak at their Entrepreneurship 101 workshop, or even just do a webinar for FCEDA, Fairfax City Economic Development Authority, also not just Fairfax County Economic Development Authority, because I would imagine that I'd be curious to know in Northern Virginia how fast our franchise is growing, and if that's a strategic partnership you could have to get more visibility. I think that would be great.
Wow.
Also with Eddie at MEC, I think that would be good. You've also got the Women's Business Center.
Yes.
So there's some really nice spaces where even if you just start speaking, you'll be talking with people who are already mentally interested in starting a business. So I think there's at least those segments, right? Ones who need to be educated more because they're actually not that far away from wanting to make that jump. And then
Yes.
there's ones who are already trying to make the jump, and this would make it easier. And finding where those pockets are. I agree with Reggie. I think that we want to tighten and elevate your message. Right now it's too generic. It's like saying, hey, it's like when people are like, hey, I'd love to see you sometime, and then they never call, right? Versus, Alex, I know this is your favorite restaurant. Let's go to lunch. And we're going to meet tomorrow. Right. I think giving people a sense of these are the franchise options and how it specifically matters. So people see that story and can see themselves in the story is huge. So storytelling is that other piece I would say I think is missing right now.
Jen, I would welcome all the groups you mentioned. I would love to speak with them, present. You made a great point, which I neglected to mention, and you're right. This is a confusing issue for the audience out there who doesn't know what I exactly do. They think of a franchise as a Chick-fil-A, as a McDonald's. They immediately think of the 7-digit investment numbers, not knowing that today, unlike 20 years ago, there are more than 4,000 franchises starting at $50,000.
Yes.
And not knowing that, they skip over me. They don't feel themselves to be qualified to even talk to me. So franchising is no longer for the deep-pocketed, and you're right. That message isn't even apparent anywhere on my website. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Can you tell my kids that I'm right? Like we just all the time. That'd be helpful. Scott, I hope I didn't steal some of your thunder. I know you've always
Wait a minute, Jen, I'm going to go next.
Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
it's Melinda. But
Because I keep pulling off the list and Scott's already gone. First comment I wanted to make is the person needs a sales background of some sort, or they need to be able to sell, or they need to really be able to pay somebody for sales. I know of a number of franchises that have failed in Northern Virginia because the person did not sell, and they can't afford to hire a good salesperson on what kind of budget they have starting up something. So that's, and I put that in the chat a while ago. The other thing that I was thinking about is where you need to be a speaker. You need to get out and speak everywhere. And I just AI'd while I was taking notes for everybody, which is really funny. And I'll send you this list. But the first list, the first thing I came up was chambers of commerce. They all help business entrepreneurs and everything else get in front of them and do something about, again, franchise 101 or whatever you want to call it. Or is this something that you may want to get out there with? Meetup groups, co-working spaces, which we already said. And then I've got a bunch of groups that I will give you. I'll either put them in the chat or I will text it to you, email it to you, from Young Entrepreneur Council, Mastermind Talks, Genius Network, War Room Mastermind, Vistage. And you can do a lot of these things as online and be their key speaker. I mean, that's going to get you in front of as many people as you can that you can help. You said you're looking to partner. These are the organizations you need to partner with.
You know, I don't know what to say to you all. Seriously, I can only say thank you is not enough. Melinda, you're absolutely right. Jen, you all, I do enjoy and need to be in front of people. And the number one reason why I tell entrepreneurs or would-be entrepreneurs not to get in business for themselves is because they're so introverted in many ways that they can't sell their business. They cannot network. They cannot be the spokesperson, the face of the business. They want to hire someone for it. I think that's a recipe for disaster.
So you're a storyteller too, and you can come up with different stories to talk to all these groups with, and just put a list of topics and things like that together, and that will let them choose which one is best for them, or you can create something with them.
I love it, Melinda. Thank you. Please, you and Jen and anyone else, if you have those groups that you think I should be in front of, please let me know.
I'll put it in the
Please.
chat. Scott, you're up again.
Thank you.
So I'm going to build on what Reggie and Jen and Melinda just said and tie it together a little bit and in a little bit of a different way. I think one of the ways I might think about your business is in terms of education. I think that's really important. And the way that I think I would probably suggest you think about going about it would be doing something like a podcast or like an interview, but maybe at somebody's franchise. Like rather than having it sit down, do it at their franchise. Let the people that you've already helped tell their story about why they're passionate about their business, what obstacles they faced, what challenges they've been able to overcome, because that's a part of that educational piece that I think is so critical. You let people tell their stories, you gain the platform of, and your own voice, right? And you're able to speak and point people in the right direction while also having consistent content that you don't have to be, that can duplicate, right? You can duplicate it across platforms. You can figure out what works. I'm seeing some individuals like Cody Sanchez is doing this at a huge scale where she's talking to business owners from a variety of different franchises, a variety of different styles, and talking to them about what's worked, talking to people that are successful. I think you'd be a great person to interview and do a content strategy that could go across LinkedIn or any other platform that you think would be appropriate for reaching your target audience.
I'm open to it, Scott. I love it. Thank you. And I'm open to suggestions. I really don't know much of what you're talking about in terms of what those opportunities are, what those methodologies are. So I'm a sponge. I will listen and I will learn and I will execute. If you want to tell me this privately, please do. I want you to tell me honestly. Honestly, I will take it constructively. How do you see me as a presenter? Okay, just be honest with me and what I need to change, because I know I'm fidgety. Now in person, I'm not quite this fidgety, but here in front of the tiny laptop, I'm moving.
But that's exactly what I said. I think you would be the perfect person to go into the businesses and talk to people. That fidgety, like high energy. No, that's good. That's really good in person. That comes across really great on camera because it shows how invested and excited you are on camera. I actually think people respond really well to that, but you need to be in the right environment for that.
Thank you. Thank you. Well,
so I actually think it's an asset. Like it's something that I really do. I really think that people value the excitement, the investment, because so much of business to people on the outside, when they're excited about business, they know the problems that they have, but they struggle with actually identifying people that are as excited about business as they are, because all they see is this very put together like website with very drab language. And I'm just using the like larger
I love it.
example.
No, you're
So
absolutely right.
humanize it.
Thank you. Thank you, Scott. Thank you all.
Next, we have John again, and then Jen for the last question of the day.
So first of all, emotion is great, and your smile is great. All those things are great. I use my bad sense of humor. Okay. And the group here can tell you that. Lawson, don't jump in right now. And so I'm a little conflicted in some of I love the advice, but I would look to your, I don't know, you don't have a major sales force. You're looking for 10 plus clients per year. So I would look on what networking channels is going to produce the greatest ROI. Where are the prospects that are already qualified? Because not that they know what franchise, but they're already going to the franchisor conferences in America, which you probably attend. I don't know. And I don't know if they truly exist, but I'm willing
do.
to bet the trade associations, et cetera, that there are multiple industry-specific opportunities for you to, one, present, but to be visible. To me, the ROI of spending 10 hours a week on marketing, I'm just making it up, that goes to industry-specific channels. And I'm talking physical, not social media like LinkedIn, which I believe is a good idea, would have a higher yield than chambers.
Well said. Thank you, John.
You know,
You're absolutely right. Jeez.
Yeah. So, you can only do so much. So maybe there are
know.
3 or 4 organizations where you can focus on qualified prospects.
They are, John. Honest to God, I'm being candid with you all. I don't. But I'm open to suggestions.
Yeah. Listen, you're going to get this recording and be able to sit down.
Oh no.
No
I hate
doubt.
the sound of my voice. Please
No,
don't
all of
read
us do.
mine, okay?
Yeah, but you're going to list out bunches of ideas and then pick 5 or so that really are things you can act on, because you can't do everything. So
Thank
look
you.
at yield. Where's the yield the highest?
Thanks, John. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're amazing people. You're amazing people. Good Lord.
So Alex, I put a thought in chat, and Fortune is in the franchise. That could be the name of your podcast. I do think that people who love to network and socialize often find structure challenging. And marketing is all about structure and having campaigns and repeatable, consistent stuff. So I feel you, I get you. Happy to talk more. I think
Love
we've
to.
given you a lot of ideas today. Make sure you save the chat. We'll make sure you get a copy of the chat. You don't need to stress about it. What else can we do to help you? And if you want to put your name and email, obviously people know your name, but your email or phone number, however you want to be reached out to, we're happy to reach out to you after the meeting. But what else can we do?
Are you kidding? You don't think you all have done enough for one day? Seriously, I am shocked. I am grateful to each and every one of you. Just support me, and you've done more than anyone has in the past couple of years. Believe me, as a group, you have been a gem. Thank you.
We're going to grab
Absolutely.
you for a testimonial, by the way.
I'd be more than happy to.
Yeah. And just come every Wednesday.
I will
Best
be.
way to
I
help
will
us.
be. I can't wait to meet you all in person.
100%.
First Wednesday of the month, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Love
All right,
it.
John Foster, I'm going to turn it back over to you as we
Thank you, Jen. John Rutenberg was starting to steal the thunder here. Anyway, so next week, anybody on the call, we have a open slot next week. So that presenter could be you. Love to have you, and we'll, it's easy to do. I will say, for anybody that's new here, presenting is easy. The process that we go through, you get a survey, you fill out some questions, the slides are generated for you, or you can use your own slides. The other thing that John mentioned was become an organizer. We would love to have more organizers. Again, that's easy. It's a half-hour a week on a Monday, and then sign up, go to the website, and we'd love to have you as an organizer. Also, this is about entrepreneurship, and we've got a bunch of upcoming events. We'd like to make sure that people are aware of the events that are going along in the local area, and you can see a couple of them here. But we've got the Referral Alliance Network. I'm going to point you to the QR code there, which is that the QR code takes into what, Jen? I apologize.
It should be the Central Fairfax Chamber.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
It may not, because it's overlaid the text, but you can also see the web domain on the bottom left of the screen.
Yes. Yep. So several places for events. In a lot of cases, those events are certainly great for networking, meeting other business owners, as well as other resources like how to start a business at the Women's Center. So our goal here is to help the entrepreneur provide the resources, and also the, I'll say it can be a challenge out there being a entrepreneur, solopreneur. And so we are here to support that. Here's our schedule upcoming. You see, we've got some open spots. So we would love to have you. You see, we've also got some applications in review. So really seriously think about it. Alex, thank you again so much for presenting today. It was great to have you. Learned a lot, and then please, would love to have you come back. So anyway, and that goes for everybody here. Bring people, and then spread the word. Alex, I'm certainly heartened by your comments. I'm glad we were able to help. And so so this is what we do. And so you'll see all the links in one space on that QR code. Please, everybody, help us spread the word through, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. That would be great. And with that, stick around for a few. We have like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So,
Thanks, everyone. I have
Alex,
a meeting at
thank you.
10, but
right.
I'm grateful to all of you.
Great
Thank you.
work, Alex.
absolutely. Learned a lot.